Miles, I have always loved you.
That's not true. That's not possible.
And you're not just here. I'm glad you're Luke. That's good because I'm like, oh, I'm Yoda. I'm not. We don't have a Luke cut out. But
I hope those
back,
aren't the
everyone.
improvements that Hurley was talking about.
I don't know. With our powers combined.
That's right.
I don't
Were you
know.
Captain
That's
I'll
Planet?
never tell you I love you.
Oh, this is a weird. We're gonna do that. So, anywho, we're gonna be watching Lost today. So, welcome back,
I
everyone.
think you're already lost.
You're lost. I'm just kidding.
Why not?
Storm here.
Tom here.
Kimmy here.
Oh my god. So we're going to be watching episode 14 of season 5.
I'll take care of Yoda.
And thank you. And last title was called Some Like It Hoth. I had to bring that up because it's just too funny. I love that title. Some Like It Hoth.
Some like it hot.
It is a fun theory that Hurley had to write Empire Strikes Back and just give him the script. But I'm like, but then you're going to take a lot of credit for something you didn't make. But he's trying to be sweet about it. He's not trying to make money off it or possibly not get credited.
He wants to add. He wants to tweak it a little bit.
And he wanted to
Wants
tweak
to
it a little
embellish
bit.
it, yes. And you know what? He's got nothing else going on. Let him do it.
If it's something positive for him, you know,
Yeah,
that's
it's
fun.
good.
Well, I guess to reminisce the movie without actually,
Absolutely.
since it doesn't exist yet. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're going to be watching on Amazon today. Shall we get into it?
Yes.
let's do it.
5:14.
Oceanic Flight 815 crashed in the South Pacific on September 22nd,
This is different.
2004.
Yeah, this is different.
For 108 days, 6 people found rescue,
So we can go off the island.
but the friends they left behind
He wants us to move the island.
vanished. This is the story of the 6 who came home and how they came to realize
We made a mistake.
that destiny was calling and beckoned them
Never should have left that island.
to return. The survivors of Oceanic Flight 815
Oh.
believe they'd finally found rescue.
Is this a behind the
when a
scenes thing?
freighter transporting a team of scientists arrived near the island.
It's a recap episode, maybe.
I guess so.
Whitmore had been trying to locate the island for years, and he staged the recovery of Flight 815 to keep anyone else from finding the island. So the survivors made a deal.
What was the arrangement? They help us free you, and we let them off the island. Fair enough.
Jack, Kate, Sawyer, and their friends left for the freighter by chopper, but the chopper was leaking fuel. Sawyer helped his friends and made his way back to the island, where Locke assumed his new role as leader of the others.
Hello, John.
Ben went deep below the Orchid Station to move the island. The chopper reached the freighter, only to find that it was rigged with explosives.
That our boat.
You're wise.
With the freighter destroyed, the chopper had no choice but to return to the island. But the island was gone.
Bloop.
Flushed.
People, we're out of fuel!
That's a lie. Lie about what?
Our plane was discovered on the bottom of the ocean. Well, someone put it there. Someone who wants everyone to think that we're dead.
The Oceanic 6 were finally home. A moment they never dreamed would arrive. But the life that awaited them
That was
was
cute.
not what they'd hoped for.
Given the amazing circumstances surrounding the survival of U6, is it possible there are any other survivors from the crash yet to be discovered?
Tom, how you doing?
Recap episodes always make me slow.
I mean, if it was behind the scenes where they're talking to the actors, that would be more engaging.
For Hurley, it seemed the island had followed him all the way home. When he began having encounters with oceanic survivors who died on the island. After turning the wheel, Benjamin Linus was transported to the Tunisian desert, 10 months in the future. And it wasn't long before Ben made contact with the Oceanic 6. Shortly after the rescue, Kate fulfilled the promise she made to Sawyer on the chopper. Kate knew Cassidy before the crash, but neither were aware they shared another connection.
What a coward. He was trying to do the right thing. He was trying to get away from you.
For Jack, coming home provided him the opportunity to say goodbye to his father, Christian, who died in Sydney. But when Kate was tried for the murder of her abusive father,
The defense calls Dr. Jack Shepard to the witness stand.
Jack was there for her. Jack moved in with Kate and Aaron. It seemed that all were happy, a family. But Hurley's encounters with dead friends continued, and one gave him a message to pass on to Jack.
Charlie said someone's gonna be visiting you too. Soon.
Smoke monster dad.
Jack slowly began to lose control. He stopped trusting Kate.
Why won't you tell me?
Because he wouldn't want me to.
The promise she made to Sawyer was coming between them. When Ben turned the wheel below the Orchid station to move the island, it caused a serious side effect.
Oh no.
The Oceanic survivors and the scientists from the freighter began flashing through time.
Charlie.
But the flashes
Charlie.
were slowly killing them. Daniel Faraday knew the situation was serious.
I need you to go back to Oxford. I need you to go there and find my mother. Her name is...
Desmond?
I need to know where I can find Daniel Faraday's mother.
I haven't seen or heard from my daughter for 3 years. Is she safe?
Where's Faraday's mother?
She's in Los Angeles.
Jin survived the freighter explosion and had been flashing through time as well.
Where's his son?
He turned the same wheel that Ben turned.
Say hello to my son.
In the process, the time flashes stopped. But Sawyer and his group were left stranded on the island in 1974, and they had no choice but to join the Dharma Initiative. Locke was transported 3 years into the future to the Tunisian desert. Widmore wanted to find the island, so he helped Locke in any way he could.
Mulder obtained your people's whereabouts.
No, I'm not going anywhere with you.
Kate, I don't think you understand.
No, you made yourself perfectly clear. And the answer is no.
Locke grew discouraged. This turn of fate gave Locke another chance to prove his case.
What are you doing here? We have to go back. Your father says hello.
What? The man who told me how to bring you all back? He said to tell his son hello. He said his name was Christian.
Locke had failed, and for him, there was only one option.
Widmore came to me. He saved me. No, Johnny used you. Charles Widmore is the reason I moved to the island.
You haven't even been to Sun yet. Let's start with her.
I promised Jim that I would bring her back.
Jim is alive?
He wanted me to tell him that his body was washed up on the beach. He gave me his wedding ring.
There's a woman here in Los Angeles, Eloise Hawking.
Yes, John. I know her.
I hate
just
this.
wanted all that information.
I'll miss you, John. I
Man.
really will.
Hi, Tom. And to put him back up like that, like, that's, like, insane.
He's a tiny dude for pick up a guy that big.
I know, like, you just killed someone.
Jack began taking
Hung them
frequent
back
trips across the Pacific. And during one flight home, he learned that Locke was dead.
We have to go back, Kate.
Never look up.
Jack.
To break in and go see him.
Sorry. Didn't mean to scare you.
I'm here to tell you that the island won't let you come alone. All of you have to go back. We're gonna have to bring him too.
Jack found new purpose and joined Ben to convince his friends to return to the island.
Okay, let's go get him.
But their task had become more difficult.
Hello, Hugo.
We threw it out and forgot.
Wait, Hugo, I
Hello.
know you're in trouble. Let me help you.
Never, dude.
Hey, you got me! That's right, you got me!
The
I'll be calm by
possibility
then.
of losing Aaron had become a reality for Kate. And as she set out to find answers, Jack was there to help. The path led them to a motel room occupied by Claire's mother,
Oh my God.
who was presumably in LA to take her grandson away from Kate.
That everything that Kate and I have done, it was for Aaron.
Who's Aaron?
He's the one who's trying to take Aaron.
No, you don't understand.
No, Jack, she's right.
Sun was ready to exact the revenge she long sought for Jen's death. Before Ben brought Jack and Sun to Eloise Hawking, he provided Sun with proof that Jen was alive.
John gave it to me.
That would show me that he's dead.
Eloise Hawking was Daniel Faraday's mother, and the person who knew how to get the Oceanic 6 back to the island. She explained that the island was always moving. Consequently, the group had a very small window of opportunity to find their way back.
It's a commercial airliner flying from LA to Guam.
Hi, Tom. Sorry, I know it's hard.
Suicide note. He is going to help you get back.
Click your heels together.
Jack was not entirely comfortable taking such a leap of faith, but when he paid a visit to his grandfather, he made a timely discovery.
Are these yours, Grandma?
Those were your father's.
But when she nearly lost Aaron in a supermarket,
Is this your mommy?
she began to question if she was the right person to be his mother. Though it was the hardest decision of her life, Kate knew what needed to be done.
He's waiting for you.
I've been sidetracked, and I need you to pick up my car and take it to the airport.
I've already heard everything you had to say, John. You need to go back. I'm going back.
There's even a chance that Cheng is alive. I have to be on that plane.
It's hard that she just leaves her
Came
kid.
home, was coming together again.
What are you doing here? How did you know about this? Don't matter that I'm here, right?
Hold up, wait, please. Thank you for not closing it.
Oh, that's okay.
This is your Captain Frank J. Lapidus. On behalf of the entire flight crew, welcome aboard.
I know. We're all together.
Wait a second. We're not going
on? He's so cool.
I know, he's so calm about it.
Destiny was calling this group back to the island.
Dude, you might want to fasten your seatbelt.
The Oceanic 6 made it back to the island.
Where's everyone else?
With one group in 2007
Where'd they go?
They're gone.
and the other in 1977.
Dude, I can't believe it.
Easy on the ribs there, Kong.
So what's up with you guys in the old Dharma jumpsuits?
Aren't exactly old.
The Dharma Initiative. It's 1977.
30 years in the future, the remaining survivors from Ajira Flight 316 were trying to sort through a mystery of their own.
My name is John Locke.
Back from the dead.
I'm alive.
And now I'm out of my coffin.
You know, that's the longest recap I've ever seen.
Oh my god, a whole episode of it.
It's one thing to have like a recap because like in other things, like it'll be more of a behind the scenes thing where they'll show clips of the show and then they'll go in and talk to the actors and it'll be like new footage of them like talking about that scene and how they felt and some experiences they had.
I was kind of waiting. Okay, this has been 2 minutes now. When is it going to happen?
I know,
But
like
now-
I caught on like maybe a couple minutes in, but I was like, maybe it'll be, 15 minutes
Halfway, yeah.
of going over this stuff, and then we're gonna jump into things related to that, like certain things we might.
Well,
have
you
forgotten.
got to think too, like when this originally aired, how long of a break was there in between the last episode and the
Right,
current
it could've
episode?
been- yeah, it could have been quite a time,
Yeah, so they probably
years,
felt a
who
need
knows?
to. They probably felt a need to recap like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I always hate those episodes though, because it just you're so bored. You're like, I've seen all this, you know.
Yeah, and I was trying to be like positive where I was like, okay, well, we might have missed something because there's some things that we do that slip, where you'll have these really subtle details, which makes this show so great.
They showed all the
where
big details.
They don't always remind you on stuff like other shows. They'll be like, hey, don't you remember when we met up with so-and-so? And they'll tell you and kind of remind you, oh, yeah, that did happen. And, make it easier on you. But this is cool where you truly have to really pay attention to the details to
do.
catch everything. But there's just certain things that we do miss. But overall, we do, I think, pretty decently. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe it's good to get caught up, especially if there was a break at the time.
Yeah, and I think it's a good recap as far as Hurley is concerned because he also was told that they have to go back to the island. It wasn't just for Ben. Hurley believed it too at first.
Yeah, because he told Jack
was
that.
Hearing, yeah. So it was good, but yeah, it was very. The recap was. I don't know. It was pretty long. The whole episode. I mean, come on.
It was long, and usually my attention span, like I can really like pay attention, but it is a little hard sometimes when it's just that. So if I knew this beforehand going in, that it was full on just a recap with no extra, scenes or something, new scenes, I probably would have just skipped it. Because I think Attack on Titan did that too, but everyone warned us. And you guys probably did warn us too, so thank you. But we are a bit ahead with our lost episodes before they hit Patreon and YouTube. So, either way, we watched it, and I'm happy we did. And, so now we'll remember all those details. Although, honestly, everything they did show, I do remember. And it is a complicated show. Like, I always joke to myself saying, like, how would I explain this to someone who hasn't seen it that might like it?
Watch
like,
this episode.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Right.
Mom, there's so much mystery in it. It's about a group of people who crash landed on an island and they have to survive, and they, have to find their destinies, and their personality or who they are like challenged in different ways. And Mom was like, what?
Well,
Yeah, if they had one of these episodes per season, it would be great.
Yeah, but I think she would have been okay with it until they said they had to move the island, and they should have been like, "What?"
I love science fiction and fantasy stuff, but yeah, sometimes like Mom does enjoy a lot of content that we watch that have those themes, but they are a little bit more difficult for her. Like usually it has to be more realistic, more grounded to really relate to it, so it's hard for different people. But yeah, I think once the science, like the sci-fi stuff started happening, she would have like kind of been really lost. Although with us too, we like to debate it a lot, and it's because we watch a lot of other shows that have timeline changes, like time jumps and multiverse type things. So.
But I really feel that she would love the characters. She would love Hurley. I think
it's a great story, and just like how many twists there are in this, like it's just it's fun. Like, it really makes it fun where we keep on guessing, and some things or a lot of things are not predictable, and it's like, wait, what? But now I want to know about Miles. I want to know more about him. Is he going to, just like last episode, I was hoping to see more about him and his father possibly bonding, and him telling. I don't know if he would say anything to his father though about like, hey, yeah, I'm actually your son.
But at least hopefully he'll see how they separated, how they truly separated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he'll get to see the life that he didn't know about.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know there's of course a lot missing, but I think it's going to be not as terrible as his mom made it sound. It's going to be something maybe that she did.
Not necessarily that his mother said anything that made it negative, just the way she presented it.
Well, she
negative.
Also said that he was never there, and she was very spiteful in how she would tell him that. So,
I guess after they left the island, though, he really wasn't there.
I know. So that's my point. Is like I don't know what happened. Like
right.
we'll find out. We kind of
he'd come back, and he never did. Who knows?
Yeah, because maybe it was a danger thing where he pushed her away, or she was just like, screw this, I'm leaving, and just ran away with their kid, and he couldn't.
I still think it has something to do with the hatch that they're building.
They had to leave. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. So I want to know more there with Miles, and now that Dan's back, and he's always been like that. He's different, and he's always like kind of cool. Not cool, but like
who's this? Dan?
Calmer. No, Dan Faraday. And when he's like, he just showed up. We haven't seen him in a while, and yeah, it's just like, oh my god,
he doesn't get excited.
Casual,
It's almost like Juliet. Juliet's like doesn't get excited. She just
I do love her character, but
she always has that little smirk on her face. Like.
Yeah, and I mentioned last time that. Yeah, I do love her character, especially knowing more about her, but she does have that feel, or the way she reacts around people. She's really good. Well, first of all, she's a great actor, hands down. But in this, like, her character, she could be like, oh, I don't know, like talking to Roger, panicking about her or his son being kidnapped. And then she's like, oh, I don't know, I just left for 10 minutes, I don't know. And then when he leaves, she's like, oh, so now it begins. Like, it's just very, like, to be able to fake something so realistically, like, so believable.
Yeah, but you got to think, though, too, she lived and worked with Ben Linus for how many years, so she knows how to manipulate.
That. Yeah, and I can understand, like, why she's doing things, but she's just so good at it. Like, I'm terrible at that kind of stuff. Not that I try to, but, like, when I, would try to prank my friends or something, I start laughing before it even happens. Like, there's no way I could just, like, full on, especially when a dad is in panic mode about missing his son. That's a huge, like, very bad thing.
She knows how to keep everything internally and just,
Yeah, so it's just, so that makes me like, oh, like, I trust her, because now we know what she's about, but just knowing she could be like that, too, is hard to be like, how do you trust someone who could just flat out lie and it's believable, and then just calmly switch when that one person leaves and be like, okay, because she's good at manipulating. But,
insane.
Yeah, but Roger's definitely going to be a problem now for Kate and Jack and anyone else.
Not only that, but that guy that works for James as well. I mean, he knocked him out. He's going to wake up sometime.
Yeah, was it Paul? I wrote it down last time, but Paul, I think. Yeah,
that's going to be a big problem.
Yeah. How are you going to keep him silent?
Because you don't know if Roger's really going to say anything. He's kind of like.
I think he will, because he seems like the type of person who wants recognition.
Yeah. That, and he's always been unstable. Like, yes, he has his own issues, but, like, he was abusive to his son. He really was. Like, he was very verbally abusive, and he was kind of physical too, right? And, you know, he was just very abusive to him. So, you know, he drinks. He's a bad drunk. And that can be a thing because we know that. But he could, he's a bad drunk, and he even like him getting aggressive at Jack, not knowing Jack, and like kicking his bucket over and just being nasty to him. I'm sorry that happened to your son, but you don't even know this guy, and you're going to start like putting your rage on him and disrespecting him. You know, like
in reality, it wasn't really working because he was kicking him out of his building that he was cleaning, so you just made a mess for yourself.
Yeah, he was just having a little temper tantrum, and for Jack to say to him, oh, you know, I think, you know, you use any excuse just to get drunk. Like, another father probably would have been go looking for his son. You know, go engage. Go, you know,
you're waiting
instead of being the victim and blaming everybody else and
don't
just
wallow
so
in your own
aggressive.
self-pity.
But he is right about Kate. Like, he's suspicious, but I don't know if he would be like that anyways. Well, I know it is Kate because she is pushing it a bit, and I get like she wants to help and she's doing nice things.
She feels bad because, you know,
blood transfusion, that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, she was being sweet, but was she doing it because she knows what it's like to lose a kid? I mean, she feels guilty, she left Aaron, but who knows, you know, what her intentions were. I mean, I'm sure they were good, but you know, she can't blow her cover.
Yeah,
it's so involved. You can't do it.
And then Roger's just so like aggressive anyways that like, and he's, you know, and it's good to see again that like he does care for his son, but he's just twisted in that way where he was still very aggressive towards him, but he takes it on others the same way, you know, especially when he starts drinking. So I think he will be a problem. He will go to Horace at some point, and you know, especially now that Sawyer punched out Paul, I think it's all just going to happen really fast, and it's going to be bad. They're going to have to leave the Dharma Initiative, and I just want to know how they all meet up together in different timelines. Like, is it going to time jump one more time? Like, I don't know if it's just going to be that easy because the island is technically stable now. We're not having flashes anymore, so. I'm curious on how that's going to stabilize. Maybe Dan knows something. You know,
because
my
question was going to be like, well, why do they split? Why is the group split into two different time zones for?
In one crash, yeah.
In one crash.
And so of course, Sun and Jin couldn't be together.
Yeah, because if you try to put it in a scientific way, I'll just kind of make a joke with that, where you know they were beamed up, like you had a flash for certain members, and the other ones physically crashed. So the physical crash was in the present time in 2007 at the time, and then you know, the flash was just like the original flashes we saw on the island, which was part of the time jump. So maybe there was still a glitch when Locke was fixing it back then. Because don't forget, when he died, Tom's like, I'll sleep reading all this. I'm sorry, ranting so
no, it's okay.
much. But like they said in this recap, Locke, when he fixed the island, he was transported 3 years into the future, which is the present. Okay, like so he caught up with everybody else. So when he fixed the island. Actually, that doesn't make sense either, because I was going to say they crashed. That was like 3 years later, around that time. And maybe that was the last flash before, like right when Locke fixed it or something. And it was like a half flash because it couldn't do a full one because it was fake. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just saying that, but it doesn't make sense anymore now that I think about it, because, yeah, he was 3 years. He was already there for
we need more information.
Trying to convince everybody. So he was there for a little bit. On the mainland, trying to get everyone together. Blah, blah, blah. Anywho, it's fun to talk about. The show we talk about the most, right? There's other shows we talk a lot about too.
I mean, we got a long recap for a freaking recap show.
I know.
Yeah, and again, recaps can be good. They have to be shorter for me unless they have new information to tell us, you know,
well, I mean,
or have something with the characters, the actors.
Little breadcrumbs here and there.
For us, I don't think this episode was necessary.
Yeah,
but like I said at the beginning, like you got to understand like how much of a gap was between the last episode and this episode, the next episode.
When it originally aired, yeah, I agree.
Right.
So, but yeah, so I would have skipped this if I did know, but I didn't, and I kept trying to. I picked up my keyboard a couple times. I'm like, maybe we'll skip this and do the next one, but I'm like, you know what? They might give us more information. They might give us like some cool clips that we haven't seen yet of like the actors just talking about certain scenes, or just the last 15 minutes or last or even half of the episode would be about the clips they were showing us. Like they would have something cool like
Nope.
that we didn't see yet. But no, it's just a recap. All good though. You know?
That's right.
So if you guys did watch this, thank you so much for
Thanks,
taking this
guys.
journey with us. We can't wait to see episode 15. This title was called The Story of the Oceanic Six. So
From the
although
beginning.
even knowing
There we
that
go.
title now, if I knew it before, I still wouldn't think
No,
that
I
it was
wouldn't
just a
either.
recap.
Well,
I
it
probably
doesn't
would've
say
thought-
anything. I mean, if you
At
read
first
the
I thought-
description,
which we don't do until after.
Yeah, we
because
don't
Yeah.
we're
until
not gonna
after.
do that now, but featuring clips from previous episodes to get the viewers caught up to date. So in this case, it would be good
It's
to
a-
read that.
spoiler alert.
Although I probably would have still watched it, kind of thinking, oh, we might miss something. Who knows? But anywho, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out the next episode now, if you're watching on YouTube, you can check so on our Patreon. It's available. Love you guys.
Yes.
Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
We should do a clip show of all our clips.